Welcome back to video 2 of our midterm review project, everyone. On the screen is the finished product. Content is coming from Gen Cyber Academy, and it is the cybersecurity concepts. There are 6 in the midterm review. We're dealing with the first 3, defense in depth, confidentiality, and integrity. And in the midterm exam for my students in the foundations class, they will address the final 3, excuse me. So 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so in essence, what we're doing is taking this content and just reviewing kind of the whole cycle of workflow from cloning starter code down, working on the code, and then pushing it back up, as well as publishing it with GitHub pages. So this is our final foray into static HTML, CSS. What comes after the midterm review is we incorporate JavaScript. So let's get going with this, and would you kindly go over and open up the fonts.google.com website. In this project, we want to be aware of the typography of the site as well, because this is somewhat text heavy with one image per each topic. So we've done this before. Click on fonts. We're going to go into our search up on top here, and we just want to grab the family Open Sans. That's it right here, so click on that. And we're going to select 2 styles only. So come on down here, and we're going to hit the plus on the select light 300 and regular 400. Now at the very top, there's this selected families icon. Just click on that, and it is now showing the icon, the family that we selected, but it's showing the links that we want to provide and also the style references. So we want to embed the code within the head tag of our HTML. So we want to come down here and copy this, and let's head on back to your integrated development environment, our Cloud9, and we want to stay inside of the head tag. So again, this is metadata, information about the project that will not show in the body or the actual page. And let's go right below the first link. So I'm going to move my cursor to the end of the link tag for style.css, hit enter, and then Control V, and slide that all the way back. Okay, so we now have our fonts.google reference, and let's go back. Let me save that first, Control S. And let's go back to that page one more time, and now we want to scroll down, and the very bottom here, we want font family. Let's grab this. This is the CSS rule specific for this family, so let's hit Control S. Not Control S, sorry about that. Let's hit Control C. I'm getting my shortcuts and my hotkeys all mixed up here. Highlight that, Control C, we put it in the clipboard, come on back, and we want to go into our styles section, and within the body, so right after background color, move your cursor to the end, hit enter, and paste the font family Open Sans Sans Serif. So that is coming from Google Fonts. All right, so let's see, where did we leave off? We set up H1 and H2. We align the text to the center, and we made the image responsive with max width of 100 within the container in which the image sits. So it will only expand to the maximum width of that container, and then we control the container with the viewport and also with other styling to come. Height is auto adjusted as well, and we put a curvature on the image. So let's move our cursor right to the end of that, hit enter twice. We want to add one style reference to our list items and just a little bit of padding in between the list items. If you recall, when we saw that, when we saw the preview, they were bunched together. So we're going to put 0.2 rem, so that's 0.2 times 16 pixels, and that's for our list item. All right, now In the next section here, we're going to focus on, before I leave, save that. We're going to focus on this post class. And remember, a class is an attribute of a tag, and it allows us to target the styling not just of one HTML element, which is what we've done up to this point, with body, with list, with image, with H1, H2. It allows us to target the styling of many different elements within a group, and that group is the post class. So, children of the post class is the H2, the image, the paragraph tag, and the ordered list. So, this is where our focus is going to be now. In order to get that done, we want to hit enter twice after the list. When you reference a class, it's different from referencing an HTML tag. The HTML tag, recall, was just header H1. There was nothing put in front. We need, for a class, we need dot and then post. And now our browser knows enough to say, okay, that we're going to grab the post class. And while I'm doing this, let me hit Control S. I want to have the preview up and running here, so I'm going to pull that up and kind of target the mobile view here. Remember, we have a little padding around the H1 element, and that font is in white, but we have two background colors working the image, but the background right now is blocking out the text for the post section, so we're going to address that next. Okay, so first things first, let it actually do that. Let's get a background color of for our post class, and that's going to be the primary, the very top. The FFFBEB. So FFF means we're pretty close to white here. It's very, very similar. Paste that. So we have background color is the property, value with hashtag is the reference to that color. If we hit Control S, notice what happens here. Now the background color changes and the text comes to life. We have a little bit of concern with tightness here, so let's work slowly on that. Let's add some margin first to the post, and that's going to be 1.2 rem. Control S, and notice what's going to happen here. It's going to actually move that rectangle away from the sides. And we chose 1.2 because remember in the header, we chose 1.2. So now that is lining up. So that is kind of symmetrical top and bottom there. Next, we want some padding on the inside of that rectangle because again, everything is pushed up against the edge there. So our padding for the post will be 1.5 rem, 1 rem being 16 pixels. Okay, let's hit save here. And notice now, this is the CSS box model in review. The margin pushed the entire rectangle off of the side, and now the padding added room inside of the rectangle for our content. Okay, so another thing we want here is to pay attention to typography. And notice now, the size of the text is big enough, but it is kind of pushed together a little bit. We're going to use a CSS property called line height, and we're going to add 2 rem or 32 pixels for line height. And let's see what this actually does. If we hit Control S and then refresh, it actually kind of makes almost from like single spacing to double spacing. And you want this ease of reading because when our viewers, our users have a fleeting attention span, and when they're reading this, they want to be able to scan it comfortably. So now this actually gives us a little bit of a comfort look on the text as well as the padding remember the li padding of 0.2 separated 1, 2, and 3, so that's why you see those already separated. Okay, let's see. We want... Let me pause this for a sec. Okay. And since this is similar to a blog post, we're going to add one other feature onto the post class. However, what we're going to do here is post class have this only target paragraph tags within the post tag. Paragraph elements within the post class. So within the post class, please target this for just paragraph tags only. And we're going to use something called text indent. And that text indent, we're going to put at 1.2 rem, and that simply will cause this first paragraph to indent slightly. Notice now the A comprehensive moves off of the left justification just a little bit to highlight the start of a paragraph for content. Okay, now looks like we have our header, our background colors are set. We could view the post content for defense in depth. We've got the image, paragraph, and ordered list set. We want to set this up for the other three now that this is good to go. So we want to go back to index.html, and I am going to close out of the preview at this point, and I'm going to move my cursor after the ordered list close and just remove that space. So now here is everything for post 1. And what we want to do is hit Control C, put that in our clipboard, enter twice, paste, enter twice, and paste. So now we want to go back up and close post 1. We want to change the comment to close post 2 and close post 3. So I'm going to pause the video at this point, and what I want you to do is to go into post 2 and 3 in our cybersecurity and bring in the confidentiality title, the paragraph, and we want unordered lists here. So instead of OL, we're going to use UL. So let's bring in confidentiality content and the integrity content. Pause the video here, go ahead and do that, and we'll meet up in a few moments. Okay, I'm coming back briefly just to show you how I'm tackling or strategizing with this. What I did with the first post or the second post is I just deleted the H2, the image source, paragraph tag, and the list items. And now the confidentiality, we are going to use the stamp image, so copy file path, and in Control V, remember we want to change that as we did before so that we're only instructing the browser to open up the assets tag. Paragraph now, let's head on back to confidentiality, and we want this paragraph right here, basically one sentence. Put that in our clipboard, come on back and paste it in between the tag for paragraph. Run our edit code formatting, apply the formatting, and then now we have unordered lists, so we want to change the OL to UL, both in the open tag and the close tag. So now what this is going to do is going to get us used to an ordered list will make this 1, 2, 3. Unordered list will just have asterisks here. So put your cursor inside of the list tags, open and close. Come on back to the first bullet here. Grab that content. Paste it in there. Code format. And at this point, I'm going to pause the video one more time and allow you to get the rest of the lists in here and include this for post 3 also. All right, we'll see you in a minute. Okay, welcome back. Let's take a look at our index.html page now, and within gallery section, notice the gallery section I have on my line 20 goes all the way down to my line 62 now. And we now have 3 posts. Post 1, which is defense in depth. Post 2, which is confidentiality. And post 3, which is the integrity. And each one we've changed out H2, the image, the paragraph, and the unordered list items. So let's save this and let's preview and take a look at our mobile design right now. Okay, so we have our header, defense in depth content, confidentiality content, and integrity content. All right, and if we open this up now to a big screen, notice everything is still at 100%, and that's exactly how we coded it. However, that's not how we want it on the big screen. So let's make a quick adjustment from mobile to full screen. And if you recall, that is going to be done with our friend the media query. So we want media queries done at the very bottom of the page. So in style.css, head on down to the post for paragraph tag, hit enter 3 times, and we want the @media, and then we want the condition for min widths of 800 pixel and larger. And we want to change, or actually not change, we want to style that gallery section. So remember, the gallery section is the entire section that wraps around every single post. And we're going to control that with our friend Flexbox. So dot gallery, remember, and this is inside of the curly brackets for the media gallery, for the media query. And we want dot gallery for class, open up curly brackets, and we want to set display to flex. Display flex, we want flex wrap. Set to wrap, and again, if you recall, what that will do is as each child of the gallery section, which is all of our posts, as each post takes up one row across the viewport, if there's more posts available, it will just put the others down below. So it'll wrap it to the next line, if you will. Okay, so let's see. We want the next one. We want to justify content space around. Okay. And finally, we have one other thing to do here for post. We now want to control the width of the entire rectangle. So instead of 100%, now we're going to ask that that entire post only take up the width of 25%, excluding margins. Okay, so width is there. And we also want the font size to be a little larger. So instead of, right now the default was 1, we're going to go to, let's see, 1.1 rem. So just slightly larger. And let's hit Control S. And if we preview the mobile look again, nothing should have changed here. Everything still should be the same as it was. Header, and then post 1, post 2, post 3. But now if we go to the bigger screen and refresh, now we have set up each child of the gallery to flex. So we have a flexible display, and then we controlled the width of each post class to 25%. So now we're able to get all 3 on the page. Okay, so we've got responsive well on its way. We have, let's see, we have mobile set up pretty good. So we want to now focus on the footer and finally pushing everything up. In the footer, we're just going to put the sources for the content and the images. So we're going to come back with the final video for our footer and publishing and pushing up. We will see you then, everybody. Thanks for your patience.